Fuck it, do it live.
Okay.
Fuck it, do it. Oh.
Westwood and I have been on now for, I don't know, a good 30 minutes or so.
We thought,
I'm
like, where's everybody at? There's like 12 people in the chat, and they're like sitting there waiting on us. I've been ranting and raving and leaving the house and talking all kinds of crap for like half an hour or more.
Now I can't even remember everything we said.
Well, thanks everybody for showing up. It's been nice. Yep, there we're live.
This has been today, though. Like before we even got started.
I know. This is my day.
I wonder if there's like some lunar eclipse thing or something happening. I don't know.
You have no idea how much memory loss there just was. I mean, down the memory hole. That we thought we were live. I was talking all kinds of smack, and now I'm like a drink in. Look out! Oh my goodness. Oh, sorry, folks. Everybody in the chat, I love you. I don't know.
Seeing your comments from the chat. We were telling everybody happy birthday.
Yeah, like, hey, thanks for hanging out. I love it. Oh, yeah. Wow. Battery's definitely going to go dead now.
Okay, so the first thing.
Rewind.
That really wasn't the first thing. I don't know. We're going to have to totally go off memory. But I know I mentioned.
We were seriously talking for like, what is it? We were talking for like 38 minutes.
At least.
You and me.
Yeah. Yep.
Dancing with myself. There's the copyright.
Sing it. Sing it.
Good thing I'm stocked up on cigars, whiskey, gin in this case. I'm good. I can do this all night. Okay. Probably will afterwards on Spaces.
Where are you tonight? Okay.
The wind just came out of the sails.
Gosh, you guys, I'm so sorry. Where the hell were you? I want my money back. I know.
Life is a lemon and I want my money back. We're going to totally copyright this
every line he can think of tonight.
I am.
We'll just demonetize.
Destroy all the copyright violations.
But the best thing you can do, Westwood, is, before we even talk about Dan Scavino and Joe Biden, so happy birthday, Westwood. Westwood is like less than 12 people away.
I think I looked today, it was like 988 on my channel.
Yeah. From
like a double-edged sword, though. Once I hit 1,000, they're going to start looking at me.
I know, but
I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah. So everyone can go over to his channel. You look for the little double pistols right here. Jump over there, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell that says all, and then get this boy over 1,000 people.
Hey, we got 17 people in here now. We're climbing the ladder. We're climbing Jacob's ladder.
I went through and I already said happy birthday. So it's a bunch of people's birthdays.
We already explained Gaza. We already worked that out. We already figured all that out, what all that meant, decoded the whole thing. And
straw,
here we are.
Getting back
plastic straws going up turtles' noses and all this stuff.
Straw man. Does that mean Trump's getting rid of all the straw man stuff next week? Oh gosh, we've already been down so many rabbit holes. I apologize. This one was great.
But lovely, right, Queen Lisa?
Happening now. President Trump has revoked Biden's security clearances. So Biden did this to Donald Trump, which this is one thing where people were like, oh, he's going to be vindictive and get everybody back retaliation from how he was treated. Okay, well, no, there's a security issue. The man they're saying he's being kind. Trump's being kind and saying poor memory, but literally Biden could not stand trial because he was not competent.
Right. The one guy that was like, the Oriental, background heritage. I don't know his name, but that's how the investigator, he didn't bring it because he's like, you know what? He's going to have all the empathy vote because he's an old guy and they're going to put him on the stand. We can't convict him because the jury's going to look at it and say, he's incompetent. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Right. And if that is
true, he's still president,
then that is a danger for national security. I would agree.
Where was the cabinet with the 25th Amendment at that point? Oh, the vice president said, I'll just run. Yeah, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Yeah. Nobody.
And then they released the full video of her interview, and she's a hot mess.
Oh, I have that too.
What a train wreck.
Yeah. And then they're telling her, like, because the answer is so bad, they're having her stop. And they're like, we just need 30 seconds of him sitting there so that we can make the cut in. And he asked the question again. And then she said, they did the 30 seconds. He goes, no, but really, how are you going to pay for all this? And she goes, taxes. Yes, and all the cackling.
We're going to be unburdened by the history of taxes because we're going to put more taxes on you, and it's going to be a bigger burden.
Is February 9th the funeral? That would be interesting.
Lord. No, I don't think so. I'm trying. Well, let's just put this to rest right now. Okay. I'm not going to be able to see the sky tonight. USAID has not gotten rid of chemtrails, contrails, whatever you want to call them, because I saw them today. So we're not there yet.
We're not there yet.
No, because I got evidence. I took pictures.
Okay. There's proof.
I got the evidence.
Tweeter.
I got the sauce.
And look at his tweeter, and you will know.
I didn't post it. I got it on my phone. I should post it, prove it. But no, I was just out with the dogs before this. And
you could see it all.
Scumbag X's in the sky.
Roger Ver was on Alex Jones.
The real Alex Jones.
I tried to get that out to as much
Ozempic Alex.
as I can. Yeah, whoever it is. I don't know who it is.
I like Fat Alex better.
There is a documentary called Bitcoin Jesus, which he hates that term actually. So right. I was kind of surprised that but I guess it's, catchy and shocking. And it's a 20-minute video. You can go watch it. I think it's on the bitcoin.com channel for YouTube. And then there's a link in there to go to freerogernow.org, and you can sign the letter asking Trump to, I think it's pardon him, but to free Roger now.
Free Raj. See, I think that's much easier, right? And a better catch. Free Raj, like Free Ross. Everybody's used to that. Free Raj.
Maybe. He and his last name is odd for people to spell and stuff.
It's very difficult to spell. Very
difficult. I don't know. I just think that it's
we're not live. We need to go live.
Am I live? So I don't know. 7 minutes in, I've lost my mind. So I think it's interesting and really concerning that he was in the same prison that McAfee was in Spain, and the way they weaponize their relationships with other countries and all this is really concerning. But I guess he's supposed to be picked up in the next hours or days and be extradited back to the U.S.
That's what Alex Jones is saying. He's like, well, I'm glad, if you get picked up during this interview, that's what.
Oh, he would have loved that. Great. Yeah.
Oh, it would have been just epic. Videotake.
Yeah. So.
Snatched up by the black helicopters, also known as UFOs. Depends on how hard your mind controlled. We got into that. We got into all the dumbs and everything underground and all the dogmen and Sasquatches and the national parks and all that. So we got into all that stuff. We weren't even live.
I know. Well, it happens sometimes. Mr. X, I think you're a wonderful member of the community. I'm glad you're here. But Trump didn't say he was the father of the vax. He started Warp Speed, which Warp Speed exposed all the criminals of what they were doing and what they had planned on doing with the vax for a long time. And it made it go fast enough that people could opt out. And that's what Trump is the daddy of, Warp Speed, not the vax. So much love to you, but I disagree.
Well, Ferrand, if you want to double the vote for Westwood, what you need to do is get your ITIN number and get yourself another license and then go vote twice and get as many as you want.
Well, you can just go to
just like X accounts. You got alt accounts. You got alt licenses. You can go in there and vote 5-6 times. How much work you want to put into it.
Well, that's what they're.
12 people. 12 people. One person 12 IDs.
You can have all the IDs you want, and you can use the address. There's a Lutheran one. I can't remember all these NGOs that are. They're using their physical, their org or NGO location as the address to live, to be an American, or to vote.
It's fun to stay in the USAID.
Yeah, they're gone. I did see that a judge was trying to block that, but it's like they already kicked everyone out of the building and took all the lettering off.
Hey, so we're gonna block somebody from trying to save money for the government and people. Yeah. As a president, just cut funding. That's what I always said. Just cut the funding. Don't fund all this stuff. I'm telling you right now, everything. We had Ted Cruz come out. I don't know what to think about him. I don't even care. But the fact is, he comes out and says, "Hey, you know what? USAID was sending money to Hezbollah." Yes, and so was the government to Israel. I mean, so it's like fund both sides of it. So let's send it through this way, and then let's create this terrorist. All terrorism is state sponsored. Let me just get that out there. All terrorism is state sponsored. I don't care what state it is. Usually it's the state that has the reserve currency and can print all they want. And I'm not saying that it's the people, in control. It's all the agencies that get created, all the money that flows down, and then they create their own little kingdoms. And next thing you know, they're funding, this terrorist organization, this one. Pallets full of cash show up. Pallets of cash didn't show up to Western freaking North Carolina. Pallets of cash didn't show up to East Palestine, Ohio. Pallets of cash didn't show up to all these, California. They were the fires burned them out. Pallets of cash aren't showing up to these places. Oh, but they showed up to Hezbollah and Ukraine.
It's worse than that. Yeah. It's worse than
that. They
that.
fund all these Mengele doctors that live underground and, create all these hybrids and mind control everybody at MK Ultra and fake aliens that abduct people. And then, welcome to Hollywood, folks. And that's the thing. Hollywood's all funded by all this stuff, all this money, all this. It's none of these organizations, none of these non-profit, non-governmental organizations would exist if it were not for conduits like USAID that took the money and funded all these things into existence to do all these dark things. And then, they're wasting taxpayer dollars. And it's like, no, let's get beyond that. It's not even that. They're creating the money out of nothing. They don't even need our money. They don't need our money. They're creating it out of nothing until we fix that Federal Reserve System that can create out of nothing and fund things. Then nothing gets fixed. Sound money, what was it? You talked about last night. Lawrence Leopard, wasn't it? Fix the money, fix the problems, fix the world. That's all it takes. Fix the money. You need sound money. I don't care what it is. Something sound. It could be gold, could be silver, could be Litecoin. I don't care. But I mean, come on. You can't just print this stuff out of existence.
It's interesting. There's Governor Stitt in Oklahoma created a Oklahoma Doe. You know what? We're going to actually look at all the federal money that we receive statewide, and we're going to see where we could cut.
Yes.
So going forward,
we had the Iowa governor, the lady, talking about that. Hey, we need to do this in Iowa. This is a good thing. And then they're all grilling her. It's like, but why do you want to be efficient? Why do you want to save money?
There's a fiduciary responsibility when you are using or holding someone else's funds. The money isn't supposed to be the money of we the people, that what we're doing.
Next thing you know, you're going to go to Waffle House and get a 50-cent, per egg upcharge, when you have money that's printed out of nothing. Imagine that. Or you're in a government agency that can, there's a bird flu and somebody died in Louisiana, think New Orleans Super Bowl. Somebody died in Louisiana, so we need to kill all the chickens that produce the eggs so that we don't have bird flu. We don't want people getting hurt. We're caring about the people. Give me an effing break. It's all so rigged. I mean, everything you see, everything comes out of Hollywood, everything that comes out of these people's mouths, it's all just propaganda. We live in the USA of propaganda. I mean, it's all such a sham. That's why I always say trust yourself, because I'm like way ahead of this curve. I ain't patting myself on the back just because it's my birthday. It's just, you got to see through this madness, this nonsense. I mean, what is real in front of you? Can you go down the road and get some eggs from a farmer who has chickens? Yes. Can you have chickens? Yes. Can you create your own eggs? Yes. So why am I getting upcharged on all this stuff? Because we're going out to the big chicken farms and we're going to cut them out, for everybody that lives in the city gets the chicken eggs delivered. And now it's like, panic. People that don't even eat eggs, they're out buying dozens of eggs because I got to get eggs. They create this artificial scarcity of a run on something that doesn't even need to happen.
That was the toilet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nonsense.
Got everyone to panic and buy up all the toilet paper, which caused a shortage.
Back in my day, we didn't have toilet paper. We had to use oak leaves.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway.
I do want to share this good news. And I feel like we've talked about it a couple times, but I don't think people quite get the gravity of it. And
well, it depends if it's a flat earth or a round earth.
Well, I don't
spherical earth.
Antigravitic. Yeah. The Chevron case, which went and was passed in July. Like, we're 6 months out, whatever, and we're just now seeing the effects of it. But basically, this lady does a really good job explaining it. But basically, it talks about how all these 3-letter agencies created laws or rules, policies that were unconstitutional. And that's
they enforced it because just like IRS agents, they got to carry guns. They got to go and enforce it and knock on the door and say, hey, we got this piece of paper and we need to, examine some things. People need to say, no, do you have a warrant for specific things that you're searching for? Then no, you leave. Call the sheriff and say, hey, I got a trespasser imposing as a federal agent. I don't know what's going on. They're trying to hijack things.
Well, that's the other thing. So I'm hearing that some of these J6ers have not been released. To take that pardon and get their local constitutional sheriff and walk his butt out of prison.
Yeah,
and that's what needs to happen.
Exactly. It's his county. The sheriff is like the king of the county because he's like president. Everybody votes for him. He's like a single entity. The sheriff, everybody in the county votes for this guy. So it's like, these boundaries, I'm responsible for this. Make them accountable. Put the lien on them. I mean, they have the jurisdiction.
So go do it.
If I were sheriff, I'd be like, y'all just got deputized.
All y'all.
All y'all.
That gave me ideas about like there are other like unjust things that have happened, but people have like orders or judgments or whatever. But it's like, oh, well, you can't get that enforced. Well, you can't this. Well, maybe you can. Maybe you go to your sheriff and you say, look, here's the order. Please enforce. I don't know.
I'm more and more to the point to where it's like, this is the unpacking to where, you know what? I'm not a U.S. citizen. Why am I checking these boxes? I'm not in the corporation. And, and there's so much information out there. Oh, it was hijacked in 1871. It was hijacked before the Constitution was written. Oh, the Vatican actually owned, the territory, and King George didn't have any right to make a deal. I don't know how far back it goes. I don't know. All I know is that, if you're a free person, a free man, a free woman, you just say, you know what? I'm not contracting. And you got to, break the contracts. I mean, we got to figure out how to break the contracts because contracts are above the law. If I make a deal with you, it's enforceable. And, if you're like, oh, well, I signed the birth certificate. Well, and I signed the driver's license. I signed the selective service. Oh, and I went and participated. Why are we doing it? And we got to unwind that and unpack that to where it's like, I know. I'm not signing that contract anymore. I'm opting out.
Well,
just like the dog. Is the dog under contract? I don't know. He could run away.
Yeah. And I guess they were like, from what I'm learning about the IRS stuff, it is opt-in, but
sure, and they say it all the time. Well, how many people have said, well, it's kind of a voluntary tax. They say it all the time. And then you're like, but here's where they get you. If you file the form and you sign it at the bottom that says under penalty of perjury, all of this stuff is correct. You don't even know what you're signing because you're like, I don't know if I did it right. I have no idea if I did it right. I don't even know. There's so many loopholes and all this stuff. And then you sign it and they're like, well, you forgot to report that $1 of Bitcoin gain. They got to come after you and put a lien on your house. What the F? you know, and so at some point you're like, I can't, under true conscience, sign it because I don't really know if I'm doing the right thing. I have no idea.
here's
I'm
the
not
other
a
thing.
freaking
Now
tax
that
lawyer.
we're seeing all of this corruption be exposed, which from what I've heard, it's just the tip of the spear, to use the term.
Yes.
We're going to see even more than, I guess this is only like anywhere from 1 to 10% of the misspending. I also saw Trump talking with the Japanese prime minister today. I think he did a little, yeah, what do you think about that? And put him in the market, or to ask a question, and the Japanese prime minister, well, I can't answer a hypothetical about like tariffs and if tariffs are going to be used or not or whatever. Whoops, we lost the Westwood again. Oh, he's working the dogs. And so I don't know. I thought it was really interesting watching that exchange, because they were saying things and they weren't saying things. And he also said that Japan's not going to buy U.S. steel. They're going to invest over, was it 100 billion? Oh, I got to send you some Litecoin, Westwood. I don't get all of that from Google, YouTube, just so you know, but have a beer on.
Oh, yeah. No, I hear you. Thanks, Jim. Yeah, don't worry about
it. But thank you, Jim. That's sweet. I'll buy him a beer next time I see him.
Jim, next time you come to Westwood, get me like a case of Yuengling. You can buy that in Illinois now.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, it's in Illinois. Yes, it's silent.
What up with Illinois getting sued? Illinois, the city of Chicago, the mayor of Chicago.
With the Corporation of Chicago. And here's the thing. Springfield's the capital of Illinois. It's downstate. It's very rural. It's in like south central Illinois. It's freaking Hicks, But, everybody comes from Chicago. Every freaking governor, and so basically, yeah, he's the mayor of Chicago. Governor of Chicago, because that's what sways the whole state. Most of the state's red, and then you got this big blue pocket of just corruption up there. And Mr. Prickster, look at his family, Peggy Prickster. Look at his brother, Prickster. They're from Ukraine. Do your homework on that. And the thing is, that whole family, they own the Hyatt Regencies, the hotels. They're all billionaires. Peggy worked under Obama, and the brother was named in the Epstein, lawsuit. I mean, the whole thing. The dude's, come on.
I'm trying to find how do you spell his real name?
Pritzker. Pritzker. And then go look at his history. Go look at his family history. What I love about it, just the ridiculousness. He's like, well, Trump's surrounding himself with billionaires. And he's like, this guy's a billionaire. Multi-billionaire. His whole family is. He's like the Walton family. Yeah. Come on.
The Hiltons too.
He owns the Hyatts. I know that. I don't know if Hyatt and Hilton are together. I don't know. It's the Hyatt, Hyatt, Hyatts, Pritzkers. And then you look at the family dealings and where they come from, and it's just like, oh, another Kazarian. Oh, okay, cool.
There was something I just saw. Now, when I Google it, it's like, he makes fun of Trump's Gulf of America by renaming Lake Michigan and annexing Green Bay. No, that's not what there was something he just did. Dang it. I should have sent it to you. He's warning all the federal workers and all this. So it'll be
Chicago's bankrupt. Pritzker was bragging about, oh, we have a balanced budget for the first time in like 20 years. You know why? It's because all the Fed money from the whole thing, that hadn't been spent, and that's how they're balancing the budget. It's like USAID. It's just like, oh, it's just money that got sloshed off over here, and we're using that to make it look good for the people. Meanwhile, Chicago, all the parking meters are owned by a company in Europe. So, if you get caught with a ticket, oh no, it goes to some European pension fund or something. Or maybe it's in the Middle East. I don't even know. Some foreign country owns it because they sold it off. They sell off the tollways that we paid our taxes for to build, You got tollways everywhere up there. I just got a ticket. My daughter, she went to New York to visit her boyfriend over break in the winter. They drove back to Alabama, went through New Jersey by the Newark airport. I get a letter in the mail with a picture of the license plate because she called me at the time. She reminded me because she's like, I don't know what they do. There's this, I don't know where I can't pull over. I can't pay it. You know, I'm like, oh, that's all right. They'll send a bill in the mail. It's fine.
Yeah,
Don't worry
they'll
about it.
mail
You
you.
know, they send a bill in the mail. It's $3.30.
How much?
$3.30 for the toll. But guess what? They had an administrative fee of $50.
Mm-mm.
$53.30. Oh yeah, I swear to God. Just happened, and my wife's like, God, what the? And I'm like, yeah, I know, it's ridiculous, isn't it? So I'm like, nope.
Criminal.
I go in, and I protest it, and I said, I explain the whole thing, and it's like I paid the $3.30. It's like, fine, take your little fee.
Yeah.
But I ain't paying $50. I was going to send a check in with like $3.30 and say, okay, you cash this check, write a little letter. You know, this is a negotiable instrument. You know, if you cash it, and you take the money, we're done.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like they just play games with you. And how many people just send the check in like, oh. Listen to this.
No, they're wild.
But yeah, that's what they do. I mean, these corporations, they come after you, and it's funny. You should see it. I should post it and show it. First notice of a violation. You know, take your license away next. And it's like, you can't take the license away. It's New Jersey. You can't take an Illinois plate away.
Right.
Stop.
State by state.
And you shouldn't even have to have the plate.
Now,
you can be a sovereign, not citizen, but a sovereign individual, and you got the right to travel. It's in the books, and it's like you want to go through the hassle of the cop pulling you over and all that. Yeah, you can get out of it. But it's just, I mean, a state can't take another state's license plate away. It's all just fear porn.
They could issue a warrant, but then if
just don't go back to New Jersey. And guess what? I would never go back to New Jersey. F New Jersey.
Oh, you might go back.
Well, I might, but I'm not gonna. I'll drive a different car.
Got some friends there. We'll drive a different car. It'll be fine. But
get a rental.
Crazy. Well, and so that's a great conversation in itself. The whole licensing thing is the middleman. That's the.
And you can't license a privilege.
I
mean, right? You can't do that.
I kind of, after seeing what our governments become, I think more of the mafia than I do the government. I think they operate in a more honest way from the movies I've seen. Not that I don't know anyone personally.
Yeah, right. Because if I think you're right.
But at least they're more straightforward. Like, hey, you're going to pay us, and we're going to protect you. And instead,
in other words, we won't burn down your place. We'll let you operate if you pay us. And you're like, okay, well, I kind of like my business, so okay, I'll pay you. You know. And then if anybody encroaches on that, they're going to say, hey, whoa, you know, and then they disappear. But that's all the police force is. I mean, you think about it. You know, there are two reasons for the police force. One, catch the slaves, indentured servants, whatever you want to say. I mean, so you had Southern people, you know, building their own little protective force, you know, to protect their property. And so that's where it grew up there. That's the origins of the police force in the South. In the North, it's the corporations. The corporations said, hey, we don't need to be breaking in our place. You know, we're going to hire you, you know, private, you know. And then it became, hey, guess what? Now I'm mayor, so I'm going to use the public money, and I'm going to have a police force, and I'm going to hire and fire the police chief that issues the orders to protect my interests. You know, all the corporations, the Hyatt hotels that I own, that kind of thing. And that's kind of where it went. You know, they enforced the policy that these people have created that really aren't constitutional. They're statute, but they had the votes. So they're like, yeah. And so the police obey them.
We're seeing that there was, I mean, the whole Russia thing was created. We're seeing the FBI weaponize that just help steal the election in 2020 or 2024. What year? Gosh.
What election hasn't been stolen since Kennedy? They stole that election by killing him. You know, so at that point, it was all just a big, op.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
You think it's only since then?
No, I mean, it was harder before that. I mean, but once that happened, I mean, here you got to think, they started ramping up the money in 1913. And then, oh, now we can get into World War One. Cool. You know, we got the money to print. You know, and then it's like, hey, all the damage we did in World War One, and let's make all kinds of, you know, ridiculous demands on Germany that they can never pay back. And so then you have the rise of Hitler and nationalism and all that stuff. And they're like, F you, France, you know, and then, you know, F you, England, you know, and so that happens. And then the U.S., you know, print some money. Hey, we got to get into this war. People are like, we don't want to get in this war. A lot of us are Germans. F that. We don't want to get into wars of Europe. Let's have these people that don't look like us come over and bomb us and, you know, cut off their gas, you know, make them, you know, have issues in Asia and force them into war. And so they come over and bomb us. And Roosevelt, oh, a day that we're living in for me. And then we're like, oh, yeah, F those Japs. They don't look like us. Let's intern them in California. Let's do all, you know, even though they're citizens. And you know, we can print the money and we can fund this whole thing. Let's blow up Europe and then have a Marshall Plan. And we'll go in and make money and build it. And, you know, it's just the whole thing. You can print up the money. You do all this stuff. But before that was a lot harder. You got to go get the gold. You got to go rob it from somebody to pay somebody that wants to fight for, you know, real money and gold. But now it's like, you know, we'll take a retirement in fiat. And so we'll go, you know, follow the bidding. But I mean, it got harder. You know, the agencies, they all sprung up. You know, World War II, it really created all these things with the money. And then, you know, 1945 to 1963 is not that long. And Eisenhower talked about it, you know, in 1961 in his speech, you know, the military industrial complex. You know, he's a general, you know, heroic general in World War II, understood the whole thing, knew what was going to happen. And guess what? The guy that came right after him, they shot him in the freaking head because I don't want to do the Bay of Pigs. I don't want to go to Vietnam. I don't want to do this. The CIA is a problem, you know, splinter it and all that stuff. Well, this guy's an issue. Let's get rid of him. And then boom, Vietnam, perpetual war, off the gold standard. I mean, all went to hell.
Well, and that was all like when we were being born. So like our entire lives has been
Smedley Butler. Look at him, you know, war's a racket.
It's been a coup, basically. Like our government was taken over, hijacked
100% was a coup
by the central banks.
Yeah, I mean,
our entire life.
Fund both sides of the war. It's just like, hey, let's give arms to Israel and let's fund Hezbollah on this side and let's have a big freaking war.
Yeah.
Cool. We all win.
They're filling government, you know, black contracts and putting money into their buddies' pockets. They're fine with it.
The corporatocracy. That's all it is.
Completely.
You know, and you see the stock market, they're like, oh, it goes to war. And they're like, oh, well, let's buy some defense stocks that are offensive stocks that blow things up, you know, and they're like, oh yeah, wars, you know, let's invest in this, you know, because, you know, this is going to be a good thing. Fix the money, fix the problems. You didn't have a world war until you had a Federal Reserve. Am I right?
You're completely right.
Now we have a world at war all the freaking time because you can fund it, all sides of it, keep it going. Ridiculous.
Well, and I think part of fixing the money, the biggest part, one of my biggest lessons from, you know, the education that I learned when Ben and I were traveling and doing the history lessons, and I learned so much.
Hey, and a shout out to Ben. I watched his video today. He was talking to was it Lauren? Who's the guy? Put it in the chat that Ben interviewed today. The guy that the big print just got a book out. What's his name? Is it Lawrence Leopard?
I don't know.
Big Bitcoin maximalist. But I put in the chat because, you know, he said, well, you know, maybe there will be a second coin at some point because this guy's a big Bitcoin maximalist. And, you know, he said, you know, maybe there will be a second coin. I said, it is Litecoin. And Ben, to his credit, comes out and says, yes, I just want to say there is a coin that can do everything that Bitcoin does, and it's Litecoin. And he's like, yeah, I've heard about that. You know, maybe that's something to look into. So I'm big credit to him for pointing that out. I mean, he didn't have to do that, but I think it's very important to understand.
Well, that
it's not just Bud Light that we're drinking here. Right. You know, there's a Miller Lite too.
That is what Roger Ver was saying on the Alex Jones show, is that he was saying Bitcoin, but with a layer of Xano. And that's what Johnny and I were talking about.
That's fine too.
But Litecoin already is built and does that.
Exactly. It's already done. It's been running for over 13 years. It's already fixed this problem.
Yeah.
And then if that fills up, you got Digibyte. I mean, you can use Dogecoin. I mean, it's now, already done.
Does Digibyte have an MWeb layer? Or because it's been proven on Litecoin, it would run or work on Digibyte, because I understand that Litecoin was like a test layer for Bitcoin. So that's where like Litecoin has the MWeb. So they could implement something like that on
You
Bitcoin.
could implement MWeb on many coins if you want to. I mean, there's that technology can be put on any blockchain, and it's on the base layer. It's not a second layer. It's on the base layer. It's just a side blockchain. And it's like you and Johnny talked about, to where it's like, okay, Litecoin's been running along public, everybody can see the ledger, just like Bitcoin, everybody can see it. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, let's put this sidecar on. And then all the coins that want to come out of here from whatever addresses go in here, and every block there's an accounting. It's like, hey, there's 1 million over here. Oh, now there's 1,000,001. Now there's 1,000,002. Oh, 1 million came out, or 100,000 came out. Now there's 1,000,001 again. It just keeps a tally of how many go in and go out. Doesn't care who goes in. And then once you're over here, you can trade amongst yourselves, and it's completely private, and you can take out of there and go back onto the main chain. And it's like, it just got mined into existence, and nobody knows where it came from. It just showed up.
Important, like to buy a house or to change title or something like that. If it's important to have a
Lawrence Leopard. Yeah, thank you, Daddy-O. Larry Leopard. He likes to call himself Larry, the amazing Larry.
I know I forgot what I was saying, but something
I'm
about
sorry.
Buying a house. Okay. I learned a lot from him, and then Bix. Oh, but about the money, and fixing the money. So peer-to-peer markets are free markets. Peer-to-peer transactions are what frees we, the people, from the money being used and our human energy being counterfeited by any form of money. So excited to and congratulate him on a third patent in the U.S. The newest addition to our patent-protected IP portfolio. So it's to be published on 2018. Oh, Isn't that a date that Cliff talked about? I could be wrong. It's our latest patent grant. It discloses a system and method for secure value transfer that operates under zero trust conditions by employing advanced cryptographic protocols and network architectures. It's designed to facilitate transactions between parties with minimal pre-established trust, thereby enabling secure in high-value cross-jurisdictional settings. The disclosure is drafted with the goal to preserve its enforceability. That is the thing that we've been missing, is enforcement, whether it's on a DAO or with transactions, all this. We've had all these rules and laws, but they only get enforced by, the military might or the government when they're threatening to throw you in jail.
They're choosing the winners and losers, and they have been doing that.
Because when someone owes you money, that person doesn't go to jail because we don't have debtor's prison. But if they owe the government money, then they will threaten to put them in jail. So this part of having the goal to preserve disclosures drafted within the goal to preserve its enforceability. Enforceability is key. Otherwise, you could make all the rules you want. The ability to enforce it means nothing.
Right. And I want a government that protects. If we have a government that has sound money and legitimizes sound money, and protects sound money, that's what I want. I want them to, I want to make sure that my money's safe. If I put it into this system, and I want them to protect that and go after people who rob me of that. It's just, that's what government should do. It should protect your borders, should protect your rights. That's what it's there for. It's to protect, you. Because that's why we instituted it. And the money is like the most important thing that we deal with every day. So, yeah, we need enforcement, Oh, well, sorry, Bernie took all your money. That's the cost of doing business. You kind of got screwed. It is what it is. And it's like, no, that shouldn't be it. And you were talking about public blockchain last night. I don't care, what blockchain it is, to be honest with you. They can make their own blockchain up as long as we all have access to it.
Yeah.
And then that made me think, okay, there was an Economist cover. It was the world ahead. They always have that, the world ahead. It's on my little Twitter thing in 2017, the little Trump card, the tarot cards. But 2022, the world ahead was, they had this like dial, and there's 4 coins on it. Or I should say there were 4. Yeah, I guess I call them coins. There was Bitcoin, there was Litecoin, there was Ethereum, and Cardano. And it makes me think, maybe they're going to put it on Ethereum, like Johnny said last night, because, the EVM, you can tie all blockchains into that, or maybe it's on Cardano. I don't know. I don't care. If it's transparent and it's been running and it works, I want to be able to go look at it. I want to see what you're doing. Why can't we do that? I mean, it's a public ledger. That's what it is to keep track of, ins and outs. And so the government should be accountable, and it should be everything that they do. We should be able to go track it. They want to see everything we're doing.
Yeah.
I want to see everything they're doing.
Well, and like I said, when they have
we wouldn't have this USAID crap then, because like,
they don't have any money. They collect our money through taxes, or that's what they say. We know they're printing it or whatever, but publicly,
all that is doing is paying the juice. I mean, if you look at it, the debt and the taxes collected, that's all it's doing. It's just paying the debt, because they can create all the money they want. The Treasury can create all the money they want. And yes, it's inflationary, because as you create money, it's going to flow into things. You've got monetary inflation to where it creates the money. Then you have price inflation because it flows into the prices, and the price of eggs goes up. But I would rather do it that way, because there's no debt attached to it. The whole thing with this debt-based system since 1913, this whole Rothschild thing, this whole, banker system that has been created, enriches people that do nothing. Mm-hmm. Do nothing. Who do we owe the debt to? Who are we paying? If we had $36 trillion to pay back right now, who are we paying? and what are they going to do with it? I mean, why do we even have it? We don't need to have it, but we outsource the monetary supply, and it's all the finance, and people get invest in treasuries and get interest on it and all the BS, and it's like, just create it out of the treasury and be done with it. Inflate it. Prices go up. Okay. Don't have to pay it back though.
You're okay with that? I'm not okay with that.
No, I'm not okay with it, but that'd be a better system than what we have now. I mean, we're outsourcing it to where now every dollar that gets created, we have to pay somebody back $1 plus some. And so you're in a big Ponzi scheme to where, okay, now we got to print more money to pay back the interest. Well, with the new money that gets created, there's more interest. And that's why we're in this situation where we have $36 trillion that we owe. But guess what? That makes us think, we're saddling our children with all this debt. And it's like, no, it's all fake. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
It's like they should start from zero and have no debt. I mean, they might pay more for stuff because we printed all this money, but they don't owe anybody. And you choose to buy it or not buy it.
Right. And then they could do the flat tax thing, or the transactional on new items only, that would be go to the state or that city, but not this. Like, we really just don't need all this federal overreach. I do think this is interesting if it's true. The Elon spending $40 million on Super Bowl advertisements, to discover everything, or to share the discovery of the corruption with Doge. I don't know. So he's asking, can anyone confirm this? I don't know that it was confirmed, but I thought, that would be interesting. The only thing that would make that better is if they rolled like Hillary's confession from Gitmo, or maybe both, followed by
Alex the dog. Roll that beautiful bean footage, right, Lisa?
Right. That's right. Roll that beautiful
dog up here.
The Epstein and the Diddy lists. But
Bring it.
That, but I feel like people have heard the list and they know it, and they're just like, yeah, what are we gonna do about it?
Yeah, I mean, it has to get to the point to where you got to fix the money. I mean, it's the root. Money is the root of all kinds of evil. That's the thing. It's like, it is the root of the evil in this system right now, and that has to get fixed. It has to. I mean, if it doesn't, then it ain't gonna. It's gonna be the same old.
This was interesting. You know how Congress has been just going wild. They were like bullying some guard at the Department of Education today because he wouldn't let him in the building because he was ordered not to let anyone in the building. And
how many chiefs do we have here? I mean, geez.
It was so crazy. But I guess Congress didn't mind, and they actually knew that China had remote access to every workstation and as early as December. So this was ordered by like Blinken or Biden's.
They have access to the Promise software too?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, go back to that PROMIS and go look into that whole nonsense. I mean, that's old. They're way beyond that now. Yeah, the whole system's hacked.
Yeah, this is saying that China was given access to. So interesting. There's lots of fun.
Yeah, the Clintons and Dick Cheney, they were all big on, hey, let's give China all this stuff. Caterpillar goes and works in China. It's like, hey, you got to turn over a lot of this stuff, and we need to know what you're doing, if you want to operate in China. It's all. Where's Joseph McCarthy when we need him?
Light Shadow says the Chinese were working from home too. That's a great one. Oh, I love it.
Man.
I love it. Pam Bondi suing the city of
Sioux, Illinois.
All the good stuff. I know you mentioned some things you wanted to get into today.
I don't even know. I got so much. The big thing is, what I sent you, if you go down that rabbit hole and how, so much of this is really a mind control operation.
Mm-hmm.
And it really is. And they're using technology, in body area networks to really just like know who you are and your frequency and, create these, the whole alters in the head and the MK Ultra stuff. That stuff goes on. And that's what's going on. And that's what Hollywood's all about. That's what all the messaging is about. That's what everything is about. Everything that you see, you have no idea. Everything that you see is being funded. And this is what happens when, again, if you have unlimited money at your disposal, you're going to protect, the system. And it's like, yeah, they might be doing bad things over here. However, I lose my power if they lose their power because it's going to trickle up. And, so we kind of let it go. And then we make deals, and all this. Go back and look at Whitney Webb, how all this stuff starts. It's like, well, this person made a deal, that made a deal. And the next thing you know, it blows up into this. And now they own corporations and control corporations. And, they're in government and they just perpetuate it because it's like, well, we really don't want to unwind this because I'd like my multi-million-dollar mansion. I like my big refrigerator, full of ice cream, Nancy. I'd like all these things and it's nice. And, I'm going to pander to the people. And, but then I'll give a little handout here and there and make you feel good and show up at a rally and, quit worshiping people. That's really what it comes down to. And that comes down to my whole thesis of you got to trust yourself and you got to just tear those layers of the onion off. And you just cannot believe anything that you've seen because they've created this whole illusion. And I go back to De Beers, the diamond De Beers, a diamond is forever. That is a whole. Hey, Marilyn, why don't you wear this necklace we're going to give you and get it into a movie, product place it. And then everybody's like, oh, I need to
make a whole song about it.
Exactly. I just brought the dog so the dogs go nuts because I think,
Yes, that's fine.
But that's what happens is, everything's product placement. You watch these movies, and you think Back to the Future. It's like, I'll have a tab. Or tab back in the day,
Yep.
Tab. It's like, I'll have a tab, and everybody's like, oh, yeah, tab. It's like, what do you mean you're going to have a tab? You didn't get Hey, come on. So it's all an illusion. It's all a matrix that's really been built and we're buying into it. And, X-Files, if you look at that, that's this whole mind control thing. And all these people who are in government, and they're
So there was another plane.
There are deep underground bunkers in national forests, and they're creating Sasquatches and dogmen and all kinds of cryptids and all kinds of weird things. So let's open that stuff up. And like I said, maybe when we weren't live, get a little flag and you go claim your 40 acres. Open the whole thing up. Expose it all.
Dogmen and the things that they're creating. I've seen some horrible, scary stuff about that. But when are we going to, how many planes are going to disappear? So now I'm going to talk about this with IAM on Monday. But now there has been another plane disappear in Alaska, in Nome, Alaska. The flight was en route to Nome and just poof, disappeared. At what point? And then how many flight or wrecks, plane accidents did we have this last week?
Yeah.
And everybody's just like, oh, it's normal. It's normal. And that's
the new normal.
Yeah. They're brainwashing people to think that this is normal. I don't know.
Again, if you have the money and you can control the levers of technology, and this is the dangerous thing that we're rolling into, we have to be very careful. With this technology, I mean, it is like the genesis of Cyberdyne Systems, and that goes back to the Terminator thing. We have to be very careful in, how it's very Star Wars, they told us that, George Lucas, and it's, Emperor Palpatine moment to where it's just, the world collapse as, tyranny takes over. I don't know, I'm misphrasing it, but it's just like, this is how democracy dies, the world cheers. And we have to be very careful because with technology, you don't have free will thinking individuals that say, you know what, maybe I'm following the wrong order. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe I shouldn't be funding this. A robot's going to do what it's told. Mm-hmm. Technology makes it easier for bad people to do bad things on a mass scale, and you don't want to be deceived, and so we have to be very careful with this technology where we're at now, because it's very easy to hit a button. If they know your network and your frequency, a little drone can come over and give me a heart attack. I mean, that technology is there, and so it's, you just gotta realize, how easy it is, with zeros and ones to control things. Get into your car. It's all, tied to satellites, this and that. Next thing you know, it's like, you've been saying some stuff and you got copyright infringements on your channel. And the next thing you know, you show up at the police station. You can't get out until the door is unlocked and somebody comes and grabs you. I mean, it's so much easier to do those kind of things, with technology. That's why I buy old cars. But, you never know. And so you got to be careful. I mean, we're at the cusp of, choose your own adventure. What path do we want to take? And, all I gotta say is the world needs a lot of Jesus. That's all I'm saying. And Jesus, take the wheel.
Jesus, a lot of other Jesus. Yeah. No, I just think it's been interesting because to me, like, I know a lot of people are freaked out and think it's a more scary place, but to me, the corruption that a lot of us have known about or have learned over time is now being exposed. And to me, that's a safer place because
it should be. I want transparency.
Yeah.
And then you make your own decision. If you choose to eat eggs, then that's your choice.
If you see that Twinkie, what's made in that Twinkie, and you choose to eat it, that's on you, boo.
Exactly. It's like you choose to smoke that next cigar and drink some more gin and tonics. That's on you. That's your choice. And it's just, but it's my choice.
Consequences to your actions, and that's fine.
Absolutely.
The fact,
but don't deceive me into thinking that this is great, this is okay, this is utopia, when you're going to rug pull me.
Yeah, just the transparency for people to be able to not be tricked into. I mean, whether you're talking about the IRS stuff or food,
all of it, everything,
medicine, any of it, when you're not being transparent with people and they are opting into things without knowing all the rules or the ingredients, that's not right.
And this is what really chaps me. This is one of my things. You go to restaurants, a lot of restaurants, they have the menu posted on the outside, and you look at it, you're like, I can't eat there. That's ridiculous. I mean, a shrimp cocktail for $30. Not that I eat shrimp. Very gross little creatures. I mean, but it's but at least it's there. It's on the door. I know how much it costs. And I'm like, I'll get some frozen shrimp and, cook it up myself. The medical industry, you don't have that. You don't know what you're going to pay. Yeah. I mean, if I knew how much, we're going to draw your blood and it's going to cost you, $200. It's like, well, I'll go to this person and they can do it because they're registered and have a license and, they can send it in and get the same lab work. Well, I'm going to go there. But again, you don't know. And so you got the whole insurance scam. You got all,
one of the things that Trump talked about was making hospitals be transparent and upfront.
They have to be. They need to be. But they're nonprofits, right?
Yeah, they're
Seems like they got a lot of big buildings that they're building, and
paying a lot of people, which I understand that I've had nonprofits in the past, and you need to pay somebody to run the nonprofit. I get that, but we also know the kind of abuse that gets
right. But what we're saying is, it's like you pay somebody, hey, go pick those eggs out of the chicken coop for me, and I'll give you, a few eggs, whatever, or I'll pay you, some money, and then they come back and say, well, that's going to be about $3,000. Huh? What do you mean it's going to be 3,000? Well, you told me to do it, and you should have asked me how much it was going to cost beforehand. But you said you didn't know how much it was going to cost because you didn't know how much there was work there was going to be. There was crap on that chicken egg. I had to wipe it off, and that's another $50. You know what I mean? It's like you don't know. You go into the hospital. It's like, hey, I broke my arm. I need to get this fixed. And it's like, well, $6,000 later.
Do you have insurance? Yeah.
No, I don't have insurance. Oh, can I pay cash and get a discount? Well, no. Because we got deals with the insurance companies that supersede, we have contracts, that are, and it's just, what the, come on. We all know it's ridiculous. And so publish the price. It's like if somebody's going to do work on your house, hey, you want to put that concrete in? How much is it going to cost me? It's going to cost you $5,000. Well, what if I pay in cash? Well, it costs you $4,000. You make the deal ahead of time. And, you're paying Litecoin, it costs you $3,500. It's like, hey, whatever, but there's no transparency. It's just is what it is. But I don't like is what it is. I want to know the facts. I want full transparency on this stuff. And that's what we don't have. We don't have it. You see it with USAID. No transparency. And then when you see it, you're like, what? You joke about $400 hammers and $600 toilet seats in the Reagan administration. It's like, 10x it, because that's where we're at now. Ridiculous. But when you can print the money and you can just create trillions out of nothing, people take advantage of it. So tear the whole thing down. That's the way I look at it.
Well, I think it's tearing itself down.
It is.
And it's being exposed. And yes, like I said, when somebody's pointing out corruption, and the people are going nuts that you're talking about the corruption, they're not mad about the corruption. That to me is very telling. Like, why aren't they upset at this corruption and spending?
Well, you're interrupting government services. There are people who are going to starve and die. Bill Gates, people are not going to get their shots because you're cutting off funding. Well, thank God. Have you read the freaking ingredients in that label?
There's no information on the label from what I heard.
No, because you go to the freaking doctor doesn't even know. But then you go to the website, go to and then download it and look at it. It's like, oh, wait a minute. We got aborted fetus cells. We got SV40 in it. We've got, all these chemicals.
Oh, I had people arguing with me that there was not SV40 in it.
Like, dude, this is the polio vaccine. This is how many decades ago. And they're still doing it.
I know.
And here's a little graphene so that we can make your body into a network, and it can like communicate to.
So the doctor that argued with me on that on Facebook said I said, yes, there is. They admitted it. Blah blah blah. And he goes, well, only in the vials that have multiple shots, because they need to protect you.
It's a preserver. It preserves it. Yes. So they can let it sit out, like letting. Okay, so you have a Thanksgiving dinner and you let the food sit out for like 6 hours. Are you going to eat it 6 hours later? Probably not a good idea. So again, it's just like, well, if you put some of this chemical on it, then it's fine. McDonald's hamburger, it's like, set it on the shelf. It's fine a month later. Go ahead and eat it when you're drunk.
14 years later, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's preserved. It's like, okay, yeah, that's probably healthy, probably nutritious. Yeah.
Crazy.
But no, you're right. The single vials are like, oh, it doesn't have any of that in it because you use it.
But once. They don't use the single vials. They use
they always use the other stuff because it's just like I've seen it with the dogs. That's why I'm like, I ain't even vaccinating the dogs anymore. I'm done. Because that's what they do. They take it out of the same vial and they put it back in the refrigerator, and it's like, oh, that was probably not a good move on my part. And it's just. Yeah. But if you meet your quota, you get a bonus. So,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Don't fill out those exemption forms to the school that are available. No, get scared and say, well, you need to do this, you need to do that, otherwise you can't go to school. Well, F school. Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday to you. Mrs. Fong was fired. She is.
Yeah, that's the one, the egg lady, that piece of trash.
USDA inspector Phyllis Fong, a 22-year, you know what?
Fong me harder, baby.
players behind the artificial inflation of poultry and egg prices in the U.S. She ordered the culling of millions of healthy birds of the mutating bird flu. Here's the truth. There was no pandemic. And it goes on and on and on. So Mrs. F, karmic strikes, security forced and security to force her out, delivering her to JAG investigators. Now, why is she going to JAG investigators?
Yeah,
Terry,
there's something about that, and the thing is, we all talk about Lindsey Graham. I mean, there could be another side to that whole story. I think he was a JAG investigator at some point, wasn't he?
Really?
Yeah, and I mean, DeSantis too. I mean, that's what I mean. This narrative, this movie is there's so many plots and subplots to the whole thing. You don't know who's acting and who isn't acting and who's good, who's bad, what. I don't know. All I know is that these people who create artificial scarcity like this, go fong yourself. I mean, because that is absolutely ridiculous that you're going to create this artificial scarcity and kill all these chickens, kill all this, one of the best protein sources on earth, an egg. And, you're going to make that scarce for people, for people that need nutrition, and look what she's done. Look at the ramifications of this. I mean, we live in a world of abundance. This is what really pisses me off. I mean, I see it around here. There's so much waste that I can plant a seed, pear trees out here falling on the ground. It's got a bruise on it. Don't eat it. Cut the bruise off, eat it. It's like there's so much food. There's, God has given us so much nature to produce things. And you don't even need to plant anything. You go out in the forest and pick berries. I mean, if a freaking Sasquatch, 10 feet tall, like 700 pounds, can survive in the woods, I mean, he probably isn't cultivating and doing, farming. He's doing his thing, and they're still out there, and there's more of them every day. People talking about it. And so we live in a world of scarcity, though. Give me a break.
Yeah.
People like that make it scarce. People that get funding and people that, make money out of nothing and get F them. Seriously, I am just, nope.
I know we talked about the death of the media. Trump is demanding that they terminate every single media contract. So all of those will lose. I mean, that's going to go quickly. This was the thing. So once again, when I was learning from Ben, the history, and then from Bix, from all the people that I learned from our people in our chat, all just this journey that I've been on, learning about the Constitution, for my mom, especially, learning about the corruption and what's, and then you see, this kind of stuff. So our Constitution is actually very thin and very clear, but then it's been by these word salad masters that they have made up their own rules. And that's where the Chevron decision in July of 2024 took all their power away. It said, these are not constitutional. These are not laws. You are just an agency. And people are, the Dems are screaming, oh, no. All of these 3-letter agencies are what is unconstitutional. They're not of, by, for, we the people. They are little parasites that instead of Congress doing their job and creating laws that are of, by, for, and we the people, then this was their phoning.
It's her little kingdom. It's like little Fong girl. Yes. It's her little kingdom. It's like, you're gonna have to drag me out, and it's like these are the people that show up at your door and knock on the door and try and unconstitutionally violate your privacy and try and entrap you.
Just
right, exactly. You just pull the plug. Pull the plug.
It works for them, and Trump is saying no. We're not funding that. It's unconstitutional. Not funding.
That's what I would do as president. It's like, I'm not funding anything at this point.
We're
going to have a reset. We're going to step back, and I'm not funding anything.
Yeah. The IRS can still exist if they want to be out of Puerto Rico. I don't care, but we're not funding them anymore.
Right.
The Fed can still exist.
So guess what? You're not getting a
They're a
paycheck.
private entity created off Jekyll Island. We're not funding them anymore.
Yeah, in a
So
train where they had to hide themselves and show up secretly, and I mean, give me a break.
Yeah.
Funded by the European, banking system. I mean, J.P. Morgan, when he died, everybody thought he's the richest guy in America. Oh, he's so rich. Turns out he was an agent of the Rothschilds. Didn't have much money. He had money because they funded it, just like these people in Hollywood, just like these singers, just like the artists. Oh, you're telling me that the country album of the year was Cowboy Carter by Beyonce? Come on, man. Talk about exposing the darkness. I mean, that's a joke. And then Taylor Swift actually announced it. Oh, come on.
Well, and the irony is Taylor was just recently taken off of a picture.
It's in your face.
A big mural. Here it is. And it's called like the Legends mural in Nashville. And she was removed from it. There it is. So I think that's another little nod, another little sign of who's really in control. The good guys are winning. That we're not going to let little Taylor, which that's a very androgynous name. No offense to any Taylors watching.
It's
But
like Pat.
It's convenient.
Or Chris.
It's just kind of convenient when you're not sure.
It's like Mr. or Mrs. Macron. I don't know. Mrs. Macron.
What was the one on Saturday Night Live? Pat?
Pat, yeah.
Pat.
I am Pat.
And people were like afraid to
They're like-
ask, was a
They're
boy
like, I actually worked with somebody, when I was doing the Taco Bell management thing, between lifetimes. Worked at a fast food restaurant, managed a fast food restaurant, Taco Bell. And there was somebody there. Her name was, what was her name? Jen. And I'm not going to give her last name. But anyway, there was one time to where she went to the window and they're like, sir. And she's a female. She's kind of like a Pat. She looked like Pat.
Yeah.
Yeah. It happens.
A little unsure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's terrible. And I don't know what that was hanging out of Lady Gaga's dress. Maybe that's why she's so confused, because it looked very odd.
Well, she had her poker face on, so you couldn't tell.
Kind of poke her face. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, we talked about Super Bowl Waffle House eggs. We talked about. Yeah, I don't even want to get into the Josh Kushner stuff and Jared Kushner. Gaza, all that. Let's see. What do you think about the buyouts? The buyouts that are happening. Do you think that gets rid of more bad people or good people? Because if you're offered a buyout, do you think more bad people are going to say, oh, I'm out of here, or more good people are going to say, oh, thank God?
So I heard that
Curious. I don't know.
6,000 had already resigned. The last I heard, that may have been this morning, so it could be more, because I think the last night was the cutoff. So that was actually yesterday, that the 6,000. So we don't know how many actually did. I think it was a way for people who knew they were screwing the system to opt out without criminal action taken against them. Because it's my understanding that he made a statement and said something about, if you don't do this resign thing, and we find out that you are working somewhere else, you're going to have to prove your income or something. And if you're receiving other income and phoning it into us, then you could be held criminally liable. Or he said something about that being illegal or something like this. So
right. You're either working for the government or you're working for the government and other people, which you can't be doing.
Well, and then it makes me think, oh, he applying it to these people. Oh, we're just talking about these workers. If you take those same wording, that same narrative, and apply it to Congress, wait a minute.
Congress is kind of silent. They're not passing anything. They're kind of sitting back. And I think at some point you're going to see that moment where
they've been phoning it in. And now we're finding out all these, they're millionaires. Do they have other jobs?
Multi-millionaires. Well,
So are they
They shorted Nvidia, you know, when the whole, you know, the other Chinese deep rock, whatever the frick it was called, came out.
DeepSeek?
DeepSeek, yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, if you downloaded DeepSeek onto your apps, you know, from the App Store, put it on your phone, they might be looking at other stuff too.
But they thought that when TikTok happened, and nobody cared.
I know.
Terrified I was back in, you know, the early 2000s, or I don't know when the heck it was, when Facebook.
Now we're going back to past ages, the early 200s. Now we're getting back to why we're here, Lisa.
2000s.
We're coming back. Yeah.
When my babysitter was helping
Cosmic
me
School Bus.
my Facebook page, I had little kids at home, and they're now, you know, 8 or 9, I don't know, somewhere around there. And it's like I was terrified because I understood how vulnerable it made me, and then opened me up to all these strangers on the internet and whatever. And now people don't think twice about it. They're like, I'm not doing anything wrong. Like,
cue the Ronnie Millsap. There's a stranger in my
I would
house.
not allow those Ring cameras or those.
Oh Lord, no. Meanwhile, your TV's watching you and you don't realize it. I mean, that's
and
where
they tell you that it has a microphone in it, so they're listening to you. Yes, you can talk about it, but they're also listening to you, and anyone can hack into it. And not just
Alexa. You don't even have to say that. She's always listening.
Yeah. What are the other ones?
Siri, Alexa.
I don't know. I can't think of all of them, but it's just like, but people just, okay, give up
your Scarlett Johansson's
privacy.
Joaquin Phoenix.
I don't know. It's crazy.
And so I look at it, you know, there are times, you know, just like I flip off the universe, you know, and things out in the yard all the time when I'm walking the dogs. It's like I'm ranting by myself, ranting with myself. And I do that. And I got the iPad sitting there or the phone sitting there. And I'm like, did you hear that? You know, seriously, I do that.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's just like, I don't even care. I don't freaking care. It's like, I'm just putting it out there in the universe, and it is what it is. You want to black helicopter me? You want to spend the resources to come get some guy in the Midwest who just wants to plant seeds and you know, and see things grow. Then, well, okay. Well, I guess that's your prerogative.
Absolutely.
I don't care.
I mean, it's creepy. Yeah, I just think we need to think about it more. Mr. X is saying, when are the JFK files being released?
Today was the deadline to where the agencies have to come up with a plan to release them.
So there was 15 days for the plan.
So today is like they have to have the plan that shows the schedule to release.
But then there is another 60 days or something, or was it 30 days?
Like a friggin' Litecoin ETF. Come on already. We already know what's going to happen.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I think it's sometime early to mid-May that the exposure is supposed to happen, which, not May.
I wrote down some dates.
Sorry, March.
So you said something about Cliff and his dates. What was that?
The 15th and the 26th
of
February.
February?
My husband's birthday.
That's when Cliff says? I thought it was March. That's all the time we have left?
No, I think it's all this month. I think it is
Lord.
End of the dollar.
It is the age of Aquarius.
February 26th. And but there was a big temporal marker on the 15th. That's what I was
this month
understanding.
Well, I got Cryptoshi's date, April 7th, to where, you know, astrologically, he's saying that, you know, it's like they tried and, it's like the money dies. The Fed dies on April 7th. That's what he's saying. Then I Stake last night, he's like, you know, looking at analytically, you know, all the deals and all that stuff. He's saying, you know, by May 4th. I don't know. In my mind, I was like, in crypto, if you're looking at it to like as a tool to freedom, I mean, which it is. I mean, you think about it. If you bought Bitcoin in May of 2020 at $3,000, and you bought 10 of them. Okay, so you spent everything you had, $30,000, and now you're like, holy crap! I got 10 of them. I'm a millionaire. And so you can check a lot of boxes with $1 million right now. And the same thing is with crypto. I mean, if in my mind, May is kind of the end date for me to where it's like, you know what? If I can check the boxes and I can do certain things and I can have my fortress of solitude and have cabins and be able to have meetups and not care about, all the nonsense that goes on and I use those tools to do that, then I'll do that. I don't care. And then it could 10x from there, but I don't care because it's not about, playing the fiat game and playing in the vampire casino. It's about what is your freedom level? What gets you free? What gets you to the point to where you're going to wake up in the morning and say, you know what? Breathe the fresh air that's not sprayed, and walk the dogs and have a cup of coffee and just be able to have a free thought process and do what you want to do. I mean, that's the place you want to be in. You want to get out of this monetary mindset, mind control stuff that, again, there's no limit to it. There's no limit to mind control because there's no limit to the money. And so, but in 1980, if you had $1 million, you'd be like, sure, I'll live off the interest. I'm good, baby. Now $1 million, you're like, yeah, it might last me 10 years. I mean, because it's going to get worse. But you've got to get things that bring happiness to you. You got to be around people that bring happiness. You got to have your own chickens to where you don't even care about the upcharge at Waffle House. I mean, you gotta have the things, the real things that matter. And if you can use this imaginary internet money that everybody gives value to, that, it does have a value, it does. But if it can put you in a situation to where I ain't got to worry about upcharge on eggs, I can go out and pick one out of the freaking, out of the chicken's butt, that landed on the nest, then that's where you got to be. Quit stressing over this stuff. And it's just, I mean, we've got golden opportunities.
Renewing of your mind and valuing things
differently. It does. Valuing things that really matter rather than all those things artificial and digital that we think matter. Because ultimately it comes down to real stuff. You need oxygen. It's probably a good thing to have.
Got dogs problems.
The dogs are way ahead of it.
Mine are being
naughty. They live so shortly. They have short lives. They get it. Because they live minute to minute. There's my man. There's Charlie.
He's pissed because I moved his headphones.
Oh, knock the earpiece off. You're still alive.
Yes, we're still alive. Come tell us what happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
What's up, bro? I can't wait till June, baby.
We'll be there.
Oh, yes. I know.
We will be there.
I got my headphones. I'm good.
Yes.
He's like, Charlie out.
He's outside. He's leaving. Charlie's left the building.
Charlie has left the building.
Yeah. He's gone.
So again, you can overanalyze all this stuff, but really what it comes down to is, again, what I've always said, you've got to know who you are, trust yourself, trust your gut. When you meet somebody, they're nuts and you don't want to be around them. I mean, that's like a very visceral thing. And it's like, okay, hey, I realize there might be vampires running things and they got unlimited funds and unlimited blood and unlimited energy. I can feed it. Or I can say, how can I not feed it? How can I do something over here that feeds me and feeds my family and, nourishes the soul and things that they don't have. And that's what you got to do. And so whatever tool it is that gets you to that point, it could be gold because holy cow, you got gold at almost $2,900 an ounce, England running out, the vaults are empty. But ultimately that is just a means to an end. The end game is being free and being able to wake up every day and do what you want to do and be the person you were born to be and follow the path you want to follow. Whatever gets you to that point, you'll know it. And you have to, if you got to write it down on paper, write it down on paper. God forbid, don't type it into a screen. Write it down.
It doesn't matter.
Use your muscles.
They're listening to you all the time. Like when I saw that thing about like when the black screen is on, that's like a camera and your phone is on. They're listening to you. If you go in and look at the battery usage of your phone, it will scare the hell out of you. And
it's like right-click Task Manager, and you're like, I didn't know those things were running.
What? And why is my battery being used so much while I'm sleeping? That's weird.
Right.
Do not have your phone in your bedroom when you're sleeping or doing other things. Like,
No.
it's just not a good idea.
No. Get to the point where I know people that say, I have a flip phone. And that's true. It's like, that's
I
all I got.
saw one at the was it at the state sale or I almost bought it. But I didn't know if you can have your phone number on 2 phones, or you would have
I have
to
a
get
golden
like
pager.
another.
Well, you can forward it, but that's all digital, in a lot of sense. You can forward stuff.
I don't know.
Unfortunately, that's how I am, always working. Because,
Zach's asking what cigar you're smoking tonight for your birthday.
oh, you know what? I'm kind of going big a little bit. I might smoke a cigar that Jake gave me. He gave me 4 excellent cigars. I have 3 left. But the one I'm smoking tonight is actually a very nice cigar, and I'll show you. The labels off, like pinkies up. Labels off with Westwood. I take the labels off. Some people, they got to smoke the cigar and have the label on it so everybody can see, how important they are. I take it off. I know what I'm smoking. I don't
You
care.
know who you are. You don't need
I know what I'm all about. But what I am smoking is a very high dollar cigar that I paid like a third of the price for it because, that's how I roll. I don't buy the box, I'll buy the bundle, for those of you aficionados. But I am smoking a Monte Cristo 1935 anniversary.
That's the Monte
It's rated
Cristo.
95 out of 100 by Cigar Aficionado. It's a very good cigar. Parker Blair can attest to that because I gave him one in Nashville, and he's like, oh, yeah, good cigar. He's a Southern gentleman. He likes bourbon and likes fine things, so.
That's our friend that we say pinkies up.
Yeah, Parker Blair, yeah. But no, it's a Monte Cristo. It's the 1935 anniversary edition, and I love the Nicaraguan stuff. So yeah, that's what I'm having tonight. But Jake, shout out to him when he came to the meetup. He bought me 2, and I don't even know if I say this right, a Padron, 2 of those, and those are some nice cigars. I mean, like $20
awesome.
a piece. And I've got them sitting humidifying, and I thought about breaking one out tonight. Maybe I will on Spaces, smoke one of those. But I was kind of saving one for the time when I check some boxes and get some cabins.
That's cool. So you have like some goals. You should write them on the cigar or something.
I should, and it's like in case of success, rip the wrapper.
Is there a way to write it without like?
You probably could on the plastic wrapper on the outside.
Okay, that it wouldn't put the chemicals of the marker.
Yeah, right on the outside.
That would be cool because then you'd have like a countdown of your.
It would be. It'd be like the what is the Jewish people do with the menorah thing? They tear.
Or the Advent calendars.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh my! Advent calendar for crypto and cigars, and be like a Bitcoin countdown or
when Westwood smokes that cigar. It's time to dump it because he's out.
Figure that out.
Yeah, no. And that's the thing. I mean, I always joke around. I say, hey, whiskey, cigars, and dogs, those are the things. But, it really is. It's those tangible things. And silver. Yeah, I mean, it's fill in the blank. It's those things that you're going to need in real life that are important. The things in your hand, family, a hug. I mean, I tell you what, today, here we go. Westwood's going to get emotional. My youngest daughter, my oldest daughter called me, had a conversation, she's in Alabama, and we'll switch it up a little bit. But my oldest daughter, she Roll Tide, they got to get their stuff straightened out. Got a good basketball team, football team, transition from Saban. But anyway, my youngest daughter.
Teams are going to be in trouble.
Yeah, I know.
I know. A lot of those dudes are not going to be playing.
Yeah, exactly. But my youngest daughter, she made me a card. I mean, she says, I spent hours on this. And she gives it to me this morning and says, happy birthday. And it was on a blue cardboard folded because I love blue. Yes. Probably because I don't want to get lasered and burned up. But I love the blue, Litecoin blue. And, she did that and she drew all these little balloons, all the detail. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, holy cow. She puts little messages on it, and then on the back, she drew a dog, she says, because you love dogs, I drew you a random dog, she said. And I mean, she's a great artist. I mean, I don't know where they get it from. It must be from my wife. I mean, from the mechanical artistry. But my oldest daughter, my youngest daughter are very good artists. And I'm like, just be an artist. I'll buy you a house. Just live in the house and be an artist. Please. I mean, why are we paying for diplomas?
Yeah.
Pieces of paper. But anyway, it is what it is. I mean, but the card that she gave me is so precious. I mean, it really was on the front and on the inside and on the back. Everything that she put on there, it's just absolutely the most valuable thing that I could ever wish for. I mean, you could give me 100 Bitcoin, I would never sell it. Give me 1,000 Bitcoin, I wouldn't sell it. I don't care. That doesn't matter to me. That matters to me because that's why I love hugging people. That's why I love to I want that energy and just that life energy that is anti-vampire that they don't have. And then you think about, you want to go biblical. You think about, oh, humanity, why did you make them in your image? I want to control them and it's just jealousy. It's like there's something special about us that you just can't, it's an intangible. It's that love, it really is what it is. And you just can't put a price on that. And I could never put a price on something like that somebody created and gave to me. So I got a painting on the wall, from the Litecoin Summit. I mean, those things that somebody used their energy to put out there in the universe, and then you can look at it and absorb that energy, and you have the same feeling that they were creating from themselves and putting out, and then you can absorb that and then have that same feeling. That's magic. I mean, it's just it's so it makes you think, well, what's money? Why does money matter? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't. It's the transfer of value. Like
it is, and that's what it is. That transfer of valuable energy that
by hijacking it with money
evokes that higher spirit. That makes us who we are, and that's why they're all jealous of us. That's why the demons are jealous. That's why all the vampires are jealous, because they don't have it. They just don't have that. They don't have that thing.
We have the power to take that back. And
absolutely, and you have it already. The thing is, we give it away. They deceive us to give it away. Don't give it away. Hold it. Use it.
Yep. Remember what the Good Witch told the Wizard of Oz, Dorothy at the Wizard of Oz. You've had it with you all the time.
Exactly. It was always in you. You always had it.
In you. You always had it. Yeah. You could go home
and then you think about that. Was it really about the silver slippers, not the ruby slippers? I mean, was it really that, or was it just the fact that you tapped into yourself and made it happen? And that was just like the trick, the charm. You know what I mean? It just activated you because you had it all the time. You made it happen. So
absolutely,
we're very powerful beings. We're made in the image of God, the Creator. So do not underestimate that, and do not think that you are not here for a reason. Do not think that you can't change things, because you can, and you have to. That's why you're here. And just do it. Just do it. Live the life you were born to lead. Follow the path.
All of you that have been getting crap for trying to tell the truth the past 4 plus 10, 20 years, the truth is coming out.
Yeah.
Whether it's about J6 or the money system or all this corruption being exposed or the terrible things they do to children. My mom always said, it's nobody's business what they think of you. Or no, it's not your business what somebody thinks of you, or something like that. I'm a terrible quoter. But basically, it doesn't matter what they think of you. It's not your business. So don't give them your power. Like Westwood says, don't give the vampire.
Right.
Don't give them your power, not just of our money and our energy, but of our identity and who we are, because you know the truth. And it doesn't make it less than because somebody is being brainwashed by the media and hasn't figured they're going to come around, but that's on their timeline, and that's okay. But it doesn't make you less than. So
listen, the vampire can't come into the house unless you invite him over the threshold. You have to invite them in, and that's what they're playing on. They want to deceive you to make them a part of your life, and you don't have to. I mean, you really don't. I mean, that's what it comes down to. It's like, my soul, you ain't taking it.
that's
F
right.
you.
Light Shadows quoting
Exactly.
Isn't that from They Live?
They Live. Little Rowdy Piper, baby. Everybody needs to be a little rowdy. Time to get rowdy.
Kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm out of bubble gum. It's time.
I'm all out of bubble gum.
Now the fireworks start, and we're all here for this. So I'm excited.
Absolutely.
I'm excited
this.
to go to. Nice.
Yeah.
I'm excited. It's in June in Metamora, Illinois. I hope you guys will go to Westwood.
I'll post that on clintwestwood.net. I'll get the dates on there. But yeah, it's June. The week after Father's Day, we're gonna have a meetup and here in Central Illinois, in the middle of I guess, common sense country, not Chicago.
No.
South of Chicago, in the cornfields.
So you will need to fly into Peoria. Or drive.
Just drive.
We'll be driving. So, yeah. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to it. What time are you doing Spaces, Westwood?
The time is now, since we started late. Oh, let's say 8:00 Central Time. So about 40 minutes, 45 minutes. Well,
20 minutes.
25 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. 25 minutes.
Put my cheaters on so I can see my watch.
Yeah, that's, it happens to the best of us. I was messaging with some young kids today and they were like, oh God, Roger Ver looks like shit. And I was like, well, a little stress and cortisol and age.
Well, you got to realize what the guy's been through. I mean,
yeah.
Facing extradition
He's
and
had his
jail
life
time.
threatened. I don't know how many, and life in prison, the threat of life in prison might do that to you. But anyway, love to you all. Thank you for wishing Westwood a happy birthday. If you'd like to give him some Litecoin for his birthday, I will copy that banner and wait, I've been scrolling it the whole time on the thing on the show. And please, our goal. Oh, we should look really quick.
What are we looking for?
I need to refresh and see, did all of our friends step up? Go to Clint Westwood on YouTube right now.
989.
And oh God, no, don't do this. It's like reload.
Probably lost people.
Oh, stop. You did not. Live.
Hey, I'm here for the remnant, baby. We're all part of it.
988 subscribed. All right, you guys.
Oh.
I'm challenging everybody.
12 more.
He needs 12 subscribers. Go get your kids' account, your wife's account. Get your account.
All your alt accounts.
Yeah, if you have multiple accounts, go and click on his.
I'm below the Mendoza line. I need to get over 200 here. No,
We only need 12 more. I don't know what that means. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. All right. Well, happy birthday, Westwood. And thank you for being such a great friend to me and to so many in the community, but mostly to me.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to hang out with anybody else, on a Friday night on my birthday. So the lovely Litecoin Lisa, I
appreciate it. And I'm great. All right. I will see you all on Spaces in about 20 minutes. Go follow Clint Westwood on Twitter.
Yes.
Take care.